When life tested the walls of our home, day passed like pages turning in a gentle breeze, soft, some heavy, some unforgettable. One morning, the family woke up to a change they didn't see coming. The father had lost his job. He didn't say it directly. He simply came home early, placed his bag in the corner, and sat quietly. Silence filled the house, something unusual for a home that always echo with life. The mother sends everything without a word. That's the magic of family. Sometimes you hear pain, even when it's buried behind a smile. She didn't ask question. She didn't panic. She simply placed a cup of hot tea beside him and said softly, "हम है ना, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. We are here. Everything will be fine." That night, the entire house seemed to breathe slower. The kids pretending not to know, but children always understand more than we think. They spoke softly, switch off extra light, even stop asking for things they normally demanded. It was their small way of holding the family together. Days turned into weeks. The father tried hard interviews, applications, travel, but nothing worked. And every rejection weighed on him like stones on his chest. But the miracle was this: the family never let him feel alone. The mother started taking small home orders, snacks, pickles, stitching, whatever little she could do. Not once did she call it a job. She called it helping the house breathe easier. The kids studies harder, behave better, and dream bigger. They wanted to grow up and give their better parents life free of worries. One evening, the father saw all of them around the dinner table, laughing, talking, supporting each other without complaining, and his eyes filled with tears. He tried to hide. He realized something powerful. This house was not held together by his earning, but by the unshakable love of the people living in it. And then, as if fate had been watching silently things change, he finally received a call, a job better than the previous one, a higher salary, a salary higher than he expected. But the real victory wasn't the job. The real victory was the strength they discovered in each other. That night, the mother smiled quietly. The children danced around. Father felt lighter than he had felt in months. For the first time in a long while, the house felt like it was breathing freely again. Life slowly returned to its natural rhythm. With the father new job, the home felt alive again, filled with laughter, small celebration, and the smell of fresh hope. But something had changed, not outside, inside each heart. The hardship had planted a quiet dream in the mother's mind, a dream she had never spoken aloud. She would look at her children studying late at night and think, one day I want them to rise higher than anything we have ever imagined. She would watch her husband working with new energy and whisper to relax. One day I want him to relax without worrying about tomorrow. And for the first time, she started dreaming for herself too. One evening, while folding clothes, she told her family, "Together we can create something big. Why not start a small business of our own?" At first, everyone feel silent. A business? They had never thought that far. The father looked at her with surprise, the kids with excitement, and the house with new possibilities. The mother continued, "If we stood together during hardship, we will walk together in good times too. We will build something of our own, even if small but ours." The ideas planted itself like a seed. The children started making list of ideas, foods, business, teaching orders, homemade snacks, craft. The father checked cost, material, license, every detail. The house buzzed with teamwork. Arguments happened, idea clashed, mistakes were made, but the dream was alive. Finally, after weeks of planning, they started a tiny home business, a homemade snacks delivery service. The first order came from our neighbor, then her friends, then a small shop, then two shops, and slowly word spread. The mother recipe became the talk of the neighborhood. People love the taste, the freshness, the love inside every bite. One night after packing a big order, the father looked at his wife with pride and said, "You show us that dream aren't just seen, they can be fulfilled when we walk together. The children hug their parents, shouting in excitement for the first time. Their family wasn't just surviving, they were growing, rising, building together. And the house once filled with fear and silence now echoed with the new heart, the heartbeat of a dream shared by all. Success was blooming like a spring flower, and the family began believing that nothing could break their unity again. But life always tests the strongest bonds. One morning, as the mother was preparing a large order for a local store, something unexpected happened. She suddenly felt dizzy, her hands shook, the room blurred, and before anyone could notice, she fainted on the kitchen floor. The sound of the falling ball shattered the peaceful morning. The father rushed to her, panic flooding his eyes. The children stood frozen, terrified. They rushed her to the hospital. Hours felt like days as they waited outside the room, praying, crying silently, hoping everything would be fine. Finally, the doctor came and said calmly, "She is exhausted, stress, overwork, lack of rest, and she needs a long break." The word hits the word hit the family like a storm. The business depends on her. The recipes were hers. The love, the magic, the success all came from her hands. Back home, the mother tried to smile and said, "I will be fine. I just need some rest." But the father couldn't hide his worry. "Before dreams, you are important. We need you, not the business." The children sat beside her, holding her hands. For a few days, the house became quiet again. The kitchen stayed cold. The order stopped. The business paused. But something beautiful happened. The family that relied on the mother decided to learn from her instead. Every evening, while she rested on the sofa, the father sat with a notebook writing down her recipes. The kids practiced, baking small batches under her guidance. The house smelled like spices, laughter, and new confidence. Slowly, the mother began to smile again, not because she was cooking, but because her family was learning how to carry her dream forward. After 2 weeks, they restarted the business, this time not with one pair of hands, but with four. Order increased again. People loved the taste, just as before, and the mother, watching from her chair, realized something powerful. The dream was fine, but now it belongs to all of us. That night, the father said gently, "Every family faces a big challenge, and we did not let it defeat us." The storm had shaken them, but it also made their roots stronger. Month passed. The day their small dream became a big name. The family's little home business slowly turned into something everyone in the neighborhood talked about. Their flavor carried not just taste but love, struggle, unity, and courage. One morning, something unexpected happened. A local social media food blogger posted most heartwarming homemade snacks in the city, flavor that taste like family. He praised their story, their teamwork, and the purity in their food. The post went viral overnight. Suddenly, people from different areas started calling, order double, the and triple again, tripled. Shops began requesting weekly supplies. Some even asked them to deliver outside the cities. The father was stunned. The children were jumping around the house. And the mother, she stood still, tears shining in her eyes, not of sadness but of overwhelming pride. Later that evening, as the doorbell kept ringing with new customers, a message arrived. "We would like to feature your business in the city food expo this month." It was the biggest event of the year. The family stared at the message in disbelief. Them, a family who once struggled to pay bills, a mother who fainted in the kitchen, a father who had lost his job, a children who had big dreams but small packets. Now, being invited to the biggest explosion, it felt unreal, but they expected. And the whole house turned into a preparation zone. Recipes were perfected. Packaging was redesigned. The children created a new logo. Some home heart snacks made with love. The expo days arrived. Stalls were decorated with lights and banners. Big brands stood proudly with their marketing teams. But among all those fancy stalls, one small stall shined differently, simple, warm, decorated with homemade ribbons and family photos. People gather around their stall, tasting, smiling, praising. Some even said, "This tastes like childhood. This reminds me of my mother cooking." Their love in every bite. The family looked at each other. This was their victory. Toward the end of the event, the organizer announced Best Homemade Brand of the Year. A drum roll echoed, lights dim, people whisper, Home heart snacks. The crowd clapped, the children screamed, the father hugged the mother so tightly she couldn't even breathe, but she didn't complain. As they walk on stage, the mother hands trembled, not from fear but from fulfillment. She received the award and said, "We are not a perfect family, just a family that never gave up on each other." The hall burst into applause. At that moment, they realized this wasn't just a business. This wasn't just success. This wasn't just a business. This wasn't just a business. This wasn't just success, and this was the story of a home that refused to break and chose to rise instead. Their small dreams had turned into a big name, and their